everybody, and welcome to the Fortress of Comic News, episode 195, the first of the year of our Lord 2021. I am one of your hosts, Chris, alongside my co-host, Mike.
Hey, first one of 2021. Here we are.
We did it. Got out of 2020.
Yeah, doesn't feel much different. I will say all the New Year's stuff is on sale at the stores, though. So if you're planning on buying 2021 stuff and using it like after the world ends, and then we reinstate the year counting system after Cthulhu shows up, so instead of AD, it'll be AC after Cthulhu. So you can save it to the year 2021 if you become immortal. So if you want to spend your money on I feel like there's got to be a group of people that celebrate New Year's parties but use all the shit from last year just to get the discount.
Well, it's always funny to me because you go into stores and you see, like, right now everybody's buying up all the Christmas stuff because, like, oh, we'll save it for next year. It's like, those are the smart people, but it just makes me laugh every time when I see people running out with Christmas stuff.
Yeah, I'm just more interested in the candy that's on sale from Christmas. Which is crazy because then they put candy out for Valentine's Day, which is like, why wouldn't you could just buy the candy from the Christmas sale, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You want to be smart about it.
Repurpose it.
Yeah.
Melt down the Santas and make them into hearts.
Yeah. Yeah, instead of the Santa Reese's, now it's the heart Reese's, and then Easter shows up and it's the egg Reese's. I think the egg Reese's is the best, though. It gives the most even distribution of peanut butter and chocolate. I personally think.
I'm a fan of the bat ones too.
Oh,
although the bat ones just look like the egg ones that they kind of just like shifted a little bit.
They look like they just fucked up a little bit at the plant. They're like, that kind of looks like a bat. They're like, Jimmy, we got one. This is you're promoted to R&D, new product development. It's it looks like a bat. It's like the nugget shapes. You know, it wasn't a documentary that said there's like 5 specific nugget shapes for McDonald's that they shaped them into.
Yes.
And like that has to be the magic number. Like they can't do any more than 5 or something like that.
Because they're classic. Like you gotta have the foot one, you gotta have the circle one. I don't know if there's more than that. Like those are the only 2 I know.
Oh, that's the foot one. The foot one's my favorite. There's probably one shaped like, I don't know, a state or something like that.
It's still always my favorite joke. Like, what part of the chicken is the nugget?
You don't want to know.
No.
You don't want to know. No.
Just like when all of a sudden it became like 100% real ground beef, you're just like, wait, what were we eating before? And then I'm just like, don't tell me. Just don't.
I remember the year that Taco Bell was doing all those court battles, and someone had taken them to court, and they're like, tried to say that there was sand in their beef, or it was like 89% beef or something. And I don't know. Taco Bell won the court battle against this person because they were right, just because they have billions and the single person doesn't. But they changed all their Crunchwrap Supremes to like 89 cents that month as like a F you to the person. Like, not only are we gonna, win this court battle, but also we're gonna take a hit and sell these things for like 8. People were buying them at like 5 at a time and freezing them. And I think I was in college at the time, so I was like, hell yeah, let's go. I was eating there like every other night. It was awesome.
I'm still... so I'm going to put it out there in the ether. I've done it before, but like KFC, if you want to send me one of your consoles to review, like bring it on, please.
Yeah.
But to bring it back to Taco Bell, I saw somebody posting, like, making a thread of like the fast food console wars. And then somebody just threw in there, like, Taco Bell's just got the portable, like, the Taco PSP going or something.
Oh, my God, yeah. Like, you can, like, you could take, like, a hard taco and slide it in the back, and it, like, keeps it warm or something like that. Yeah. Like, we could be the marketing people. Hire us.
Yeah. I've done enough KFC stuff on the internet at this point that, like, I feel like I've deserved this.
Yeah. Would that have been binging Survivor lately, so back on that train. I've been like getting into Survivor because it's all on Hulu, and I think I'm trying to catch up. I don't know when I think the new season comes out in like February, but I used to watch it back in the day, like 15 years ago was like the first season, I watched like the first 5 seasons or so. Now I'm getting back into it. Like one of the seasons they brought back fan favorites, so it's like people that like got to the end and didn't win. Now they're back, and I'm like, I'm just fanboying again, like shouting at the TV and shit. It's crazy. Like I don't know. It's reality TV.
I watched the Great American Barbecue Cook-Off.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's on Netflix, right? I saw a couple of those episodes. Yeah.
And yeah, I destroyed that in one day. I loved it. It hit that I don't watch a lot of reality TV shows, but it hit that itch for that. And then it's just like I love barbecue. And then they also had the guy and he almost won it too. Spoilers, everybody. But the guy that I was rooting for the whole time, Rashid, was just like, I think his background was he was like Jamaican and some form of Colombian. I could be wrong on that, but he had a lot of those like he was adding jerk seasoning to stuff, a lot of like south of the border flavors added into it. I'm just like, oh my god, I'm so fucking hungry right now.
See, I liked that show, but my problem with American like reality TV, because I love Great British Bake Off. I love that show. I watched a lot of it, but the thing about the Great British Bake Off is, number one, you don't win like $1 million. You just win title of best baker.
That's what this one was.
Yeah,
you were the pit master of the year.
Pit master, right? So I love that idea, but I also love the idea like, I mean, there's a guy who just like has one leg that's baking away, and they don't like comment at it all. They're not like, oh, Mark, had an accident and has one leg, and it's been a real struggle his whole life to bake. They're just like, they don't even pay attention. Like one episode, they're just like, oh yeah, he's got one leg. He's like, oh, it's from an accident. Where it's like, in like the American shows are like, oh, it was so hard for me growing up with my one leg, and I turned to the barbecue or something. You know what I mean? Like, those are the parts that are just like, come on, I just want to watch the barbecue. Like, I don't want the sad stories.
I'll say they get into some of those. Like one of the guys, his partner throughout his smoking history.
Yeah, I remember they make a like, recipe or something.
Yeah, like he died. But I don't think they linger on it enough where it bothered me.
I think it bothered me. I think that's why I stopped watching it. I think it was like one of the first couple. I just was like, just cook the ribs. Like, let me see the ribs.
And it gets to a point too where they're like, they do a bunch of like what you expect. Like make the good. The first things make the barbecue plate. Your best barbecue plate. And then they get harder and harder, and eventually they get to like make the best barbecue sandwich, and then they're just like, here's a bunch of techniques from different countries. You're all randomly assigned one. Go figure it out. You have 8 hours. And it's like the people are just looking at it like, well, what the fuck do I do with this? And they're like, well, let's see what happens, and throw shit together. Yeah, and it's still better than anything I can make with all the best technology in the world.
Right, and like YouTube,
Yeah.
But now I just want barbecue.
I just love barbecue, so that show made me happy.
Brisket. I love briskets. If I could just eat brisket for every meal and not have a heart attack.
I mean, I'll take the heart attack too. It's fine.
Well, it's worth the trade-off.
Yeah, I mean.
Oh man,
There's got to be a negative to that wishing stone, Mike.
Yeah, true. Oh yeah, if you saw Wonder Woman, All right, let's jump into this little bit of news we got. The Superman and Lois trailer, huh? What do you think?
I said it before the show. It's a big nothing burger for me. It does. I thought it was slapped together. Like it looks like they filmed next to nothing.
It looks like they filmed like in between shooting Supergirl. They're like, "Hey, can we come do a couple scenes for this shitty show we're doing?"
Yeah, and then the two actors they got, like nothing against them, but like Superman doesn't look like Superman to me.
And Lois, I never liked Lois when they brought her into Supergirl. I was like, I don't like this actress as Lois.
And I don't know how to say this without coming off a little sexist, but like the actress that plays Lois like just doesn't do it for me. And I'm not saying sexually or anything like that. Right. I'm just saying like she doesn't look like Lois to me. Yeah. There's something off about the way like her look that I'm just like, I don't buy you as Lois Lane. Right. And I guess it's not that sexist because I said the same thing about Clark. Like he doesn't come off as Clark to me either. Like he he's not built like Superman. He doesn't look like a farm boy. He just looks like a dude.
And all the fans are like, "Oh, give us Henry Cavill." They're like, "Well, you're not going to get we're not going to bring a show to HBO because you'd all get excited for that. We're going to give you a CW show.
Yeah, I get it. CW is technically its own thing, and they got to do something, but I don't know. I think this is going to... I have a distinct feeling this is a one-season dump. Unless, like, they come out and it's amazing. But
I think we know. I really don't think anything will ever get better than, like, Flash first few seasons. You know, like, I think was CW's peak. And yeah. I've always said it, like, just end it at the Super Friends table. Like, you know, put a knife in it. Stick a fork in it, whatever.
That's, for me personally, that's where that show ended. Like, it ended at them sitting around the table, being like, okay, Super Friends time. It's like, okay, that's a good ending. I'm fine with this. I don't need any more.
Yep.
And it's also, like, Flash, we've gone over this so many fucking times, but Flash just got dull with me because, like, Speedster of the Week.
Yep.
And then I had a hard time with Batwoman. Supergirl was fun for a minute, but just got real...
Second season of Batwoman comes out with the new actress, so I might check out like the first episode just to see like how she is, and maybe they're like going to change the whole way they're doing it, but I really doubt it. Like, you know, you always go into these CW shows thinking like maybe they'll add a little bit of, you know, seasoning here and change it a little there, and it's like, no, it's literally the same shit.
Yeah, you hope, but you get turned down, and that's why I'm more excited for like, you know, Snyder Cut and the Peacemaker show that's coming out. Like, push more investment in that and give... I mean, if CW is still making money through all this, sure, keep making it, but I want to see more investment in that and see if they can do something cool there, because I think Disney has proven that you can do it and do it more interesting. And I mean... DC Extended Universe is what it is, but you can do it more interesting inside of a universe too, where like characters are more together. I would rather see those. I'm more excited for a Peacemaker TV show than I am for fucking Superman Lois Lane. Like,
I mean, plus it's John Cena. Like, come on.
Yeah, but even still, it's just like, why does that world exist?
Right, and James Gunn's doing it, so it's like, come on, let's go. Yeah, and Cobra Kai came out on New Year's Day. Have you watched any of the new season yet?
I haven't watched any Cobra Kai, period.
Oh, okay. Well, season 3's out. I'm probably going to spend tonight watching it because it is Sunday night for us. And I've heard nothing but good things. That show gets me so hyped. You know, it was on my top 5. So, damn, I can't say enough about that show. And I told you that there was like an Asian character in the trailer, so I was like hoping that like, please let this be like a descendant of Mr. Miyagi or someone, or like they go over to China or something in the season. Like this, like you know how I love kung fu, like, just so excited, you know. So
on the Bat Friends podcast, we ended 2020 with the last episode of the animated series. So now we're doing the new Batman Adventures. I keep mixing those two up.
Which is the new cartoon, right? I haven't.
No.
Oh.
So the way the DC animated universe timeline goes, they went from Batman the animated series, then they went over and did the Superman the animated series.
Okay.
And of course, we're skipping over that because we're Bat Friends, not Super Friends.
Yeah.
And then they went and did the new Batman Adventures. And then after that, they went on to Beyond and on. The new Batman Adventures were so bad, dude.
Yeah, I've never watched them.
Like, we watched the animated series, and like, there's critiques and there's things, but it's like a 20-year-old cartoon from our childhood, so whatever. Right. But going back to this one, like, I just looked at it, I'm like, this is not good. There's a lot of bad things they did here that I don't understand, and it's literally like from changing art styles to changing characters all around. It's so weird, and I've watched like a bunch of it now to prepare for recording, and I just gotta say, like, that show sucks.
Are you guys gonna get to Brave and the Bold at all?
Yeah, so our plan is we're actually talking right now because originally it was going to be we're going to do the animated series and that was it. And then Joe and I were talking and we're like, well, let's keep doing it. Like, we're enjoying it. So I said, okay, I create a timeline and we're going to do the new Batman Adventures. and then we're gonna do. There's a 6-episode arc in Superman that is Batman and Superman teaming up.
Okay.
So we'll do those, and then we'll do Beyond, and then we're actually going to do Justice League and Justice League Unlimited.
Nice.
And then I forget what comes after that, but somewhere in that, the show is probably going to end on Brave and the Bold, unless something else pops up and we want to keep doing it.
Brave and the Bold. We always talk about this. Brave and the Bold is so good.
Yeah, it is, and we've been talking because we did a big chunk of new Batman Adventures, and we're like, do people want to listen to us shit on this for a half an hour every week? Because that's what we do.
Yeah.
Because it's this. It's so bad.
Even the name is bad.
It's so confusing.
Yeah.
It's so confusing too because there's the new Batman Adventures, but then back in the 70s, they did the new Adventures of Batman and Robin.
Yep.
And that's what in my head it was, and that's literally a sequel to Batman 66.
Okay.
That's Burt Ward and Adam West doing the voiceovers.
Oh wow.
So it just confuses me when we're doing it because I'm like, I gotta remember new Batman Adventures.
Yeah.
But all that's on HBO Max now too, so everybody can join in on the misery with me if they want to watch that.
Oh man, that's awesome. Comic news.
Comics.
Yeah, so Carnage is back. Marvel announced a new Carnage anthology series coming in March titled Carnage, Black, White, and Blood. The 4-issue series will have stories from Donny Cates, Ben Percy, Teenie Howard, and art by Sarah Pichelli and Ken Lashley. So Donny Cates is on it. He did some shit with Venom. Now he's going to Carnage, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, I mean, Donny Cates is on it. I'm going to pick it up.
Yeah.
Sarah Pichelli art is kind of interesting to me because she's a big time artist and she's someone I really enjoy the work of. So I'm excited that she's doing it. I really hope that Donny and her are working together because that'd be awesome. But yeah, more Donny Cates comics. I'll take.
Right, just give him everything. Black Knight is getting his own limited series in March, spinning out of the one-shot King in Black, Black Knight. It's written by C. Spurrier and art by Sergio Davila, which makes sense because we're talking about getting Black Knight in the big screen soon, eventually. So,
yeah. So this coming Wednesday is the Eternals are getting their comic.
Yep.
That was supposed to line up more with the movie, but 2020 happened, and. So yeah, bringing Black Knight and making him a character again. I'm excited because I love Black Knight. I think he's a cool, fun character.
Mm-hmm.
And B, it makes sense because he's going to be in a movie soon. Synergy.
Right. Yeah. The whole Black Widow comic with the Black Widow movie didn't really work out, but
exactly. I think there was a lot of plans that were very meticulously put in place to come out at certain times. I guarantee you that Carnage book too was put out to be alongside something with the Carnage movie, and then that got delayed. So, I feel like we're getting a lot of books that were supposed to line up a little bit better that aren't because Marvel needs to make money, so they need to put out the books, and obviously the movies aren't happening for a little longer.
For sure. This is interesting. 2021 Spider-Man's getting a new costume. Uh-oh. When the next story arc in Amazing Spider-Man, Osborn and Kingpin will play a role in Peter needing to make a new costume and will debut in issue 61.
This has had the internet ablaze, everybody.
Yeah.
You saw the costume, right?
No, I haven't seen it yet. I'm going to look it up right now.
So I'll say I don't mind it. I don't think it's the best costume ever, but I think it was Dan Slott that went on Twitter and talked about it, and he said he had 6 to 10 different costumes throughout his run, so it's it's not something out of the realms of possibility that's happened.
I think it's cool,
but it's interesting. They're connecting it with an old Kirkman character actually that Kirkman created for Marvel. But it is what it is. I mean, we saw the most recent story arc ended. I'll talk about a little bit more when we talk about what we read. And they're going into a thing where Norman and Kingpin are together, and they're going to do something against Spider-Man. And we see images of them ripping the costume up, and he needs a new one. So, hey, let's do a new one. I mean, they need more costumes for the video game and for toys and all that stuff, so why not?
Yeah, I mean, the web shooters are cool. He's got, digital readouts on his wrists and stuff, so...
Yeah,
I think
100% Tony Stark has something to do with it.
Yeah, of course. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
He's the only guy that can make a suit for anyone in the Marvel Universe.
Exactly. So, I mean, it is what it is. I think it's okay. It's not the greatest costume ever, but as long as the story's good, he could run around with Baghead again. I don't really care.
Yeah, as long as it's not that. All right, so you want to talk about what you read, because I haven't read diddly squat, and I'm catching up this week. So
okay, well, I got enough for both of us.
Oh boy, let's hear it.
Because I got 2 weeks worth. I think you talked about this when it came out, but I did read the last stories of the DC Universe. I'm going to start with my death metal books, everybody. And I thought it was okay. I mean, it was basically a whole thing of how Nightwing and Barbara are in love, and they just need to get over their problems and blah. It's basically setting up the new Nightwing series. And there's some cool like stories in between there. It was interesting. Dark Knight's Death Metal, The Last 52, War of the Multiverse. I'll say I tapped out on this book real quick.
Yeah.
Some of it was interesting. There's some stuff in there, like the first and last story are written by Scott and are tie into what is going on with death metal, but a lot of it was just like take Hero X, create dark multiverse version of Hero X, make them fight. And I got kind of sick of that formula after a few stories. So
yeah, I can see where that would get old.
Yeah, one of the weaker of the tie-ins, but I think all in all, not the worst book I've ever read. And then I'll end Death Metal with Secret Origin, which is basically a story of Superboy Prime, where he came from, how he got to where he is now, and then where he's going to end up when this all is. And it's basically Superboy Prime gets the ending that he's always wanted.
Okay.
That's basically what it is. It's his redemption story. I thought it was a pretty good issue altogether, and I thought they did a really good job of showing who he is, and like somebody who's never heard of Superboy Prime or has only read like Shazam or even Death Metal can understand the story and get something out of it, because they really go into depth of like kind of his past and what he did and the bad and the good and all this stuff. So pretty good issue. Cool. King Size Conan #1. I picked this up because Kevin Eastman has a story in it, and it was the first time he's ever worked with Marvel.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But it's also got stories by Roy Thomas, Chris Claremont, and Kurt Busiek. Two of those names are integral to like Conan's Marvel history, and I love those two, so I wanted to check it out. What was it? Roy Thomas's is kind of an intro to his original series back in the 80s, and then Busiek was just a standalone story that he told, and then Eastman's was another standalone story that he told. And I thought they're all like fun, interesting Conan stories. I mean, Conan's not that difficult to get right. I mean,
yeah,
hulking man fights people, kills them. Like that's
like there's not much there.
But I do enjoy a good Conan book every once in a while. King in Black #2. So we begin this issue. Spoilers for issue 1, everybody. We see Null drop Eddie Brock off a building. And then the last Venom issue was kind of the in-between of Brock going through his thoughts as he's falling to the ground. And this one starts with him smashing right into a car. So I don't know. I would think he'd be dead at that point, but he lives.
Okay. Makes sense.
And then it's Iron Man says, like, we need to do something. We need to, maybe if we get a symbiote and attach it to him, the symbiote could heal him, because that's part of Venom's powers, was that the symbiote can heal him and all this. So he goes and does that, and it goes horribly wrong. And then the rest of the issue is kind of that issue for any Marvel event book where we set up the other books. So we get a moment with Jane Foster to set up where she's going to be so she can have her own book. And we have a moment with Namor so he can be where he has to be, and so on and so forth. All in all, I thought the Dying did a good job of tying those all together into a story that made sense. It didn't feel like hey, this, go buy this book, go buy this book, go buy this book. It just felt like
Right.
it flowed with the story.
Okay.
And then spoilers for the end of this: Eddie's dead.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So that's an interesting little tidbit there. And then to kind of tie in with that, King in Black, Iron Man, and Doctor Doom, #1. So this was the one where Iron Man and Doctor Doom fight Santa Claus.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
So it literally spins out of the issue 2 of King in Black, where Iron Man's sitting at the rooftop going like, fuck, I killed Eddie, like, what do I do? And then Doom shows up to be a dick, because that's what Doom does.
Yep.
And they see Santa Claus, and there's kind of a prelude to like Tony losing his faith in Santa and doing all this stuff, but they see it and Tony's like, no, that can't be him. And they go and they see him, and there's Santa in the symbiote with symbiote reindeer.
Oh my god.
And they end up fighting him and doing all this stuff. It's really fun and goofy and wacky, and I love that you can do that in a comic.
Right.
Where, like, I don't think any other medium can do this.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed
awesome.
it. And it's written by the guy who's doing Iron Man right now, Cantwell. So he obviously has a grasp on the character. Oblivion Song #29. I'll just say I still really enjoy this. This is setting up the creatures from the other dimension have come to Earth, and now there's going to be a big fight.
Okay.
That was kind of the synopsis of this book. But I still really like Oblivion Song. I don't know if anyone else in the world is still reading it, but I am.
Yeah, I dropped off.
I've tried it. This has been so long since I read this one, but Batman White Knight presents Harley Quinn, what are we on, 3?
Yeah, 3. I just realized that came out. That was like a weird like month and a half or so.
Yeah. So last issue we got like we got kind of a backstory of like who the killer is now and what they're doing, and they tied it into the animated series really well with like the guy that they were going after was playing Grey Ghost.
Mm-hmm.
And then this one we find out that the person helping Harley actually has a connection to the Gotham elite or the Hollywood elite, and his mother is like a starlet from back in the day, and they have a whole conversation with her, and then that leads to a confrontation with the villain of the book. So it was a good issue. I'm really enjoying this series. I mean,
yeah, it's not bad.
Weird.
Yeah,
I think we said it last week, but like 2020 was kind of the year of like things I don't necessarily like, all of a sudden I like, and like Harley Quinn's one of them. Like I've read 2 Harley Quinn books.
Right.
I don't think I've read 2 Harley Quinn books in my life.
And watched the cartoon, so like, or I did, but.
Action Comics 1028. This is the final issue that Bendis is doing on Superman. And it was him kind of wrapping up all of his storylines, including Connor Kent and what's going on with him. And like the new status quo is going to move forward. Like Connor Kent's down on Kent Farms, and he's going to be there. Mm-hmm. We sent Superboy back to the future. Superman and Lois are kind of dealing with the outcome of him coming out and saying like Superman is Clark Kent, and Clark Kent is Superman. And what was the other one? Oh, and Jimmy now owns the Daily Planet.
Oh, interesting.
So that was a kind of fun scene where everyone there was just like, "Fuck!" Like Jimmy's our boss now. It was interesting.
That's awesome.
Speaking of final issues, I've got Batman Beyond #50, which is the final issue of that. And this is a one-shot story that's entire purpose was to bring Wonder Woman into the world. So something happens. Bruce has a heart attack. He has to have a transplant. Diana comes in to meet up with Terry to find out who's responsible. They find it. They fight him. Good guys win. And then Bruce has a new heart at the end, so he's healthy and happy.
Nice. Good for him.
But the big thing here is that the last page is Diana and Terry flying away, and Diana's like, I want you to meet some of my friends. And then she ends, like, the last line of the book is, because, the Justice League isn't the Justice League without Batman.
Oh, snap.
So, DC, where the fuck's my Justice League Beyond book?
Right. Where is it? Why is it not here yet? Why are you teasing me?
So I'll tie these two together because it's Spider-Man 54.LR and Spider-Man 55. The .lrs are like side books to the story they were telling about the different people involved with it. Okay. I won't go too much into that, but 55 ended it with Mary Jane comes in and confronts the new villain and says, like, take me instead of Spider-Man. Like, the world needs Spider-Man. But since the new villain is actually Harry Osborn, he can't do it because they're old friends. And then right before he reaches his hand up, he's about to kill her, all this big epic moment, and then in comes Green Goblin and says, we need to fight. So they fight, they do their whole thing, and then Kingpin shows up. So that's going to tie into like what's going on in the next issue with the whole Spider-Man losing a suit thing, because they're going to team up against him. Yep. They take Harry away, and we kind of end it not knowing if Mary's dead or not. Like, she's been kind of fucked up a little bit. Peter grabs her and like runs away with her. So we're going to see what her fate is, but I think it'd be ballsy to kill her. And I hope they do, because I think it'll lead to some interesting story arcs. But I don't know if they will.
Probably not.
Okay. Probably not. Star Wars Vader number 8. Vader enters a cave that nobody's entered and left and lived. And guess what? He lives, everybody, because this takes place in between movies. And then the bounty hunter that's been after him is talking with the Emperor, and the Emperor's not happy because he hasn't killed Vader yet. And so at the end, when Vader's on his last leg and he's trying to get back to his ship and repair himself, in comes the bounty hunter, and that's going to be the next issue.
Of course. That's how they get you.
Exactly. You got to keep the stories going, man. Avengers number 40. This is the beginning of the Enter the Phoenix story that they've been teasing forever. And it was kind of interesting because it's basically the Phoenix has come to Earth and is going to fuck with everybody and say, like...
Isn't that what Phoenix always does, though? Like...
Yeah, that's her kind of thing. But this time she's just like, everybody enter my tournament of champions. And she gives people a little bit of Phoenix power and says fight to be the final Phoenix, like the person who takes over the Phoenix. And during all this, like, Wolverine and a few other X-Men show up and be like, we know what to do about the Phoenix, everybody.
Let me at her.
But what ends up happening is that Cap and Doctor Doom both have to fight as everybody else like is in the sidelines watching. And so that's most of the issue. And then they kind of tease at the end with like, there's going to be more to come, everybody. Stay tuned. I mean... I'll follow Jason Aaron's to the end of the earth. I don't care. He's a great writer, and I think he's got a cool little story here. He's bringing in some interesting heroes. Like, there's some Squadron Supreme characters that are going to come in on this.
Nice.
He brought in Man-Thing, Namor, all these different heroes. So I'm excited to see where that goes. X-Men number 16 was, if you remember how 10 of Swords ended, was that Apocalypse said, let Arakko come back to the world and form with Krakoa to be one again. And to anyone who doesn't know, Arakko was the other part of Krakoa that got lost in time and space because comics. And now Arakko is back on Earth, but there's a problem. They're not merging. They don't want to be together, and they can't find out why. And so they're trying to... The whole issue was them like dealing with that whole scenario, and then realizing that there's all these mutants on Arakko that they've never seen before, never met before. They don't know. So what do we do about it? So Professor X reaches out a hand, says, let's be civil and be peaceful and together. And the others are like, well, we'll see. We'll talk about it. And they leave. So it seems like these next couple issues are going to be a lot of diplomacy. And then kind of the B arc to all this was Cyclops is like, we should form a team. Because it's called the X-Men. We need an X-Men team. And he's going to hold an election to find out who's going to be on the X-Men.
Oh, of course. That seems very foolproof. Oh my god.
And I got one more, everybody. So stick with me. The OZ number 1 finally came.
Oh, wow.
So everybody remembers we had David on the show, and he talked about this book a lot. And I believe you backed it too, right?
I think so. I don't know where mine is. My mail's been so delayed, it's crazy.
It's been weird. I've been seeing a lot of people online have been getting it over the past couple weeks. So mail's weird, right? I'm still waiting on Christmas presents for people, everybody.
Right. So, I ordered things that are still not here from December, so.
Exactly. So it is what it is. But yeah, I got it. It's such a good book.
Awesome.
I never thought, I mean, we've read 2 Wizard of Oz books in the past couple of weeks, and I think they've both been fantastic. Even though I don't give a crap about Wizard of Oz, I don't want. Right. I don't know why I want to say of the Oz.
Of the Oz.
It's probably because it's called the OZ. But yes, I think this book's really good. It's everything David said. It's the descendant of Dorothy, and she's a war hero from the Iraq War, and she's kind of dealing with all those problems, and then she ends up sucked into a tornado and goes to Oz and meets with all the different people that are there. There's some really cool twists and turns throughout it. He brings back characters that should be dead, or you would think would be dead. He puts the 3 main protagonists from the movie in different places, so they're going to interact in ways, but maybe not very friendly ways. And that said too, like, this one issue is 2 comics. I did not realize that when we backed it, but it is a full 2 comics in it. So
that's pretty cool.
Kudos for him for giving a lot of comic out too.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But if you can find the OZ, davidpapose.com is his website. Go check it out. I think it's a really great book, and I think everybody should check it out, even if you're not a Wizard of Oz fan.
Nice.
Mike, I'm finally done. Where can people find you on the internet?
You did all the reading for me that I did not do the last couple of weeks, but they can find me at Fortress Ricker on Twitter. Where can they find you and or the show?
Well, they can find me at Fortress Chris on Twitter or at chrisrunt.com. And if you want to follow the show further, there's fortresscomicnews.com. Everything we do is right there on the handy-dandy website. If you want to follow the YouTube, it's now youtube.com/fortresscomics. So everything there is available to you, and I hope you all enjoy it, so go there. If you are listening to the show on a podcatcher, to give us the 5-star review or whatever review system your podcatcher uses, use it. Help us out. It means the world to us. And if you're watching on the YouTube, to like, subscribe, share, comment down below. And if you want to go and be the extra special, awesome listener, go to patreon.com/fortresscomicnews. Plenty of good goals that we can reach there to get more content out to you, as well as being able to get the Bat Friends podcast 3 days early as well. So everybody, thanks so much for listening, and we will see you all next week.
Goodbye.